To answer Renana and this panel's question, are we on the verge of another great leap forward as mankind? I absolutely think so. My answer is yes. I think technology is really leveling the playing field for all of us around the world. And today I just want to give you some examples of what I'm seeing from my vantage point at Google and about this connected society. But I'd just like to start with a personal anecdote, actually, about my father. My father is a professor of electronical engineering. He's one of the renowned professors in his field. He taught at UC Berkeley. He comes actually from a village in Turkey, which has a population of 150, and still looks today the same way, almost the same way it did about 150 or 500 years ago. And yet, everybody in this village has a mobile phone. With, just punching in a few digits, they could connect to you or anyone in the world. They use the internet. They upload, for example, pictures and videos of the village and talk about how it's on the path of Alexander the Great's conquest and, try to, I guess, make it attractive to tourists. And all this really surprises me because when I look around me physically in the village, when I visit around April every year, I see, in the center of the village as well as in the just surrounding it, there are wells, functioning wells, where people get their water and the animals, there's a lot of animal farming in this village, get their drinking water. So, oh, sorry, I thought someone was saying no to me, but yes, there are cows that drink milk, sorry, not milk, water from these wells. So it's just one example. That's a personal example of this. Now, one again that we've seen at Google, I just want to play you the video of Zach Matere from Soy, Kenya, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. If you could play the video, please.
Not long ago, I planted a crop of potatoes. Then suddenly they started dying one after the other. Checked out the books and they didn't tell me much. So I went and I did the search. Potato diseases. One of the websites told me that ants could be the problem. It said sprinkle wood ash over the plants. Then after a few days, the ants disappeared. I got excited about the internet. I have this friend who really would like to expand his business. So we went with him to the cyber cafe and we checked out several sites. When I met him next, he was going to put a windmill at a local school. I felt proud because something that wasn't there before was suddenly there. I realized that not everybody can be able to access what I was able to access. I thought that I need to have an internet that my grandmother can use. And so I thought about a notice board, a simple wooden notice board. When I get information on my phone, I'm able to post the information on the notice board. So it's basically like a computer. I use the internet to help people. I think I'm searching for a better life for me and my neighbors. So many people have access to information, but there's no follow-up to that. I think a follow-up to that is our knowledge. When people have the knowledge, they can find solutions without having to be helped out. Information is powerful, but it is how we use it that will define us.
So this is a true story. Some people have asked me, it's absolutely a true story, and I love the story. He's actually Mr. Google, isn't he, personified in his village. I love the way he says, I want to do an internet even my grandmother can use. He does his blog, which is that notice board that you saw, and he puts and shares information. And it's just one way of people using the web and sharing information. There are many, many areas dear to my heart, education, politics, health, that are being used where Google's platforms are being used in ways we've never imagined before. And I'd just like to share some examples from those three areas, and starting, of course, with education. Everything starts with education. So One example is my friend and colleague, I've got his picture in there, Sebastian Thrun. Some of you might be familiar with him because he's one of the leading artificial intelligence minds in the world. He is the brain behind the Google's self-driving cars. He is a former Stanford professor. He actually quit Stanford to teach online. And that's the part I want to talk about. He's told me that in his first year of teaching just online for free to students around the world, whoever would want to listen to his lecture, he's made a bigger impact than he has in all his career as a professor. And you know, in Stanford, the average class is about 30. His class was very popular, around 200, he told me, and these are very privileged students paying quite a big sum for this. And imagine him reaching 200,000 students around the world, and maybe somebody you know or yourself taking his artificial intelligence lessons. So it's just one remarkable way, and you know, God knows what the future holds. Another example is in the area of art, this time something that my team initiated. There's this young marketing person in my team called Clara in Spain. She was taking all her friends that visited Madrid to the Prado Museum. And one day she said, why don't I use the Street View technology, cameras, that we use for Google Maps, inside the museum and do a virtual tour, so that people can do a virtual tour of the museum and zoom in and out of the masterpieces from anywhere around the world. So what began as Clara's initiative is now today a huge project with 151 of the top museums around the world that have been digitized and that are available for anyone to visit online for free. And it's a great way of the digital technology providing access to people who may not be able to afford or have the time to visit these museums. So museums like the Israel Museum right here in Jerusalem, or the Uffizi, or the Hermitage, or MoMA have been digitized, and this project is growing. I'd just like to show you a little video about this project. Stop there, please. Thank you. So as you can see, people can tour the museum, see the masterpieces at close-up, create their own virtual gallery, share that on Google+. Imagine, a child, a student in India or Chile, anywhere in the world, using this in part of their art class. So at Google, as you know, our mission is to organize the world's information and make it accessible to everyone. And we appreciate that not all the world's information is digital and online. Two such examples that the Cultural Institute have worked with engineers here in Israel are the Yad Vashem Museum and the Dead Sea Scrolls that have been digitized. So one of the world's most important, if not probably the most important Holocaust museum is now digitized the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are so important, and you can't even touch them. They're very perishable and so precious. They have been digitized. You could search them. So all this is being now accessible to everyone around the world. And those are just some educational examples. Now, a little bit to health. My first example is, I'll show a picture when it comes up. It's about a product. It's using a product we call Hangouts on Google+. This is what it looks like when you're on a Hangout. And basically, up to 10 people can do a video conferencing, but they don't need to know each other. Anybody can join that Hangout if they can just see that it's happening right now. And this has a touching story where a teenager boy gets shot in a gunfight by a gun in Kentucky. And in the small town where he is, the only person available at the hospital is a general surgeon, yet the boy needs a hip, and he's been shot at the hip and spine, so he needs, like, if he doesn't get orthopedic surgeon specialist attention, he's at a huge risk of being paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of his life. So this general surgeon calls a friend who is an orthopedic surgeon. They decide to jump on a Hangout, which there's a webcam there and a laptop there, as you can see. And the orthopedic surgeon actually brings in 2 other specialists. And together, they save this boy's life. The boy can walk. Now, when we came up with the Hangouts product, which is quite serendipitous in its nature, as I mentioned, we never thought that people would be using our product and our platforms in this way. And every day, we are humbled by such examples of the creative and intelligent ways that people come up with to use our products. Another example, a bit more lighthearted, and again, totally unexpected, is, I'll show a video in a minute, is something called photo walks. Actually, let me just show the video, because it's quite self-explanatory.
Freedom for me has always just been going for a walk in the woods, finding the perfect light and getting the shot. I think I started when I was 12 years old, putting that canoe on my shoulders, carrying it down to the lake, and going for paddle. John Butterell as a young photographer, his epic canoe trip, 1969. That was a long time ago. One day, I was out taking pictures, and I thought, how cool to be able to attach a phone on top of your camera and hang out with 5, 10 people. And they would see exactly what I see through the viewfinder of my camera.
It's gorgeous.
It was pretty amazing. And the next day, Corey Fisk came into the Hangout.
I love photography. I have been living with MS 10 years, and this is my world. There's nothing more to my world than that.
I just said, Corey, tomorrow I'll take you for a walk. I'm going to walk closer to that old tree over there.
Down a little more, right there. Love.
I think the video is. We can stop here. It's a beautiful video, but we can stop here. I think you. Would you like? Is it playing or? Hands up if you want to see the rest. It's just maybe a few more seconds. Okay, Oran, let's play it.
Through the viewfinder of my camera.
It's gorgeous.
It was pretty amazing. And the next day, Corey Fisk came into the Hangout.
I love photography. I have been living with MS 10 years, and this is my world. There's nothing more to my world than that.
I just said, Corey, tomorrow I'll take you for a walk. I'm going to walk closer to that old tree over there.
Down a little more, right there. Love.
Okay. Sorry. It's on YouTube if you want to watch the rest. So basically, Corey gets a walk, and other people take her for such walks, and she knows what she wants. She goes over here, no, on the river, and And it's just another wonderful and a bit more lighthearted example of the way people are using our platforms in ways we haven't expected. My last example or story really is about, I said, the third area, education, health, politics. It's about politics and the Arab Spring. I'm sure you've heard many stories and seen many images. This is my personal story. No pictures, no videos. Like Renana mentioned, I look after the Middle East as well in my region. And there's a young man in my team based in Dubai. He called me on a Friday. He said, I'm going on holiday to Egypt. And I thought nothing of it. He has family in Egypt. Later on, I thought, why did he call me? There was something weird about this phone call. Was he saying goodbye? What was this? Then on Sunday night, his wife called me to say that he had disappeared and she hadn't heard from him since he left Dubai. And then began 12 days of an intense search, I must say very gratefully to Google, led by Google, where we searched prisons, morgues, hospitals, everywhere you can imagine. We actually had advertising up on Google, so if you typed his name, you would get an ad saying, call this number, leave a message here. And one day we realized that he was being held by the Secret Service of Egypt. Then we realized that he actually had been quite active in the organization of the Arab Spring. And perhaps some of you may have heard his name, Wael Ghonim. He was one of the several people who led to the Egyptian Arab Spring. He had a Facebook page called We Are All Khaled Said. And he was later on nominated as Time's most influential 100 people in the world and nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. But I wanted to share the story with you, and there's many colorful chapters to it if you're ever interested later. Because Wael, and if he was here, he would say exactly the same thing. He is an expat living a comfortable life in Dubai. He's got a very passionate cause, something that he really believes in. He is a true geek. He lives and spends a lot of his time, much to his wife's dismay, online. And this combination of, it could be anyone you know, it could be you, is really something that happened in front of me and something Wael always talks about. So clearly he worked a lot, and it's not just about updating your status on G+ or any social network that leads to such things, but which he definitely, in his modesty, underplays. But he really, it was really interesting for me to see this phenomenon so close to me, and I had to share that with you. So, to conclude, I started with a prediction and an optimistic start, saying I do think we are on the verge of the great leap forward. I think we are just at the beginning. Only 2 billion people are online. As you may have heard Eric Schmidt talk about it, 5 billion more people are going to come online. There are only 20 million businesses online of the 90 million that we have in the world. Smartphones today that cost $400 will cost, Android phones that cost $400 today will cost $20 in several years and will be 20 times faster. So if all of this doesn't make it the great leap forward, what does? Thank you very much.